Blog Talk Radio, the world's largest online radio network.
Here's Robin.
I'm Milling About with Oliver Platt, starring in The Oranges. Great to see you.
Nice to see you.
Have you ever done a radio blog before?
You know, I somehow suspect that I have, only because I'm the lucky person and I get to work on movies and then I get to talk about them.
Right.
So, but I've certainly never, I've never had the extraordinary honor of talking to Milling About.
I love you already. Are you on Twitter or do you do any of those types of things? No.
I don't know.
Is it scary to you? Is that why?
You know, it's not that. I'm more. I don't know. It's very interesting because I don't. As a parent, one of the things as a parent that's so confusing about the internet is that you feel that it's creating a very different sense of the concept of privacy for your children.
Absolutely.
And that your children don't. One of your sort of primitive fears as a parent these days is that your children don't understand privacy. Yeah. The way that you did.
And they don't socialize like we did.
Very differently. Yeah. And there's some ways about it that they socialize that are really wonderful, and then there's some that aren't. But for me, I'm interested in my privacy. And I'm interested in both personal privacy, and I'm also interested in my privacy as a professional. And I know that a loss of privacy is part of the deal, and that's I totally accept that. But it's sort of I'm in it for the long haul. You know what I mean? I didn't do this so that I could be famous. And
it's so funny because I was just thinking, since I've known you and I've talked to you before, you've become more famous. You have. I don't. I guess that's a good thing. I mean, but in terms of framing that, it's like it's not the goal. It's actually it means you're doing something right because it means that I'm lucky that the people think that I've been in have been seen. The last thing, forget about the notion of celebrity or anything like that. I don't assume that everybody wants to know what kind of toast I made that morning. Right. You'd be surprised.
Well, but that's the crazy thing. Is I think that, that's how the world's changed. That's how, and there's, like I say, there's wonderful things about it, but it's also, I guess it's a matter of choice and sort of, and frankly it is, I'm dating myself, I think it's a generational thing, Yeah.
What's the craziest thing that's happened to you, though, since your fame has, is it rose? What's the right word?
I really don't keep track of that. I can't help, you can't help but feel the effects of it, but I don't spend a lot of time thinking about how famous I am or aren't. I try and focus on my work, and all I know is that if what you're saying is true, it's happened very gradually, and that's a nice thing. Yeah. Because it can be a confusing thing, and I have kids that you like to sort of protect from that, and also have them understand it in a healthy way, and know that there's me, and then there's that person who people say hello to on the street, who is and that what I am most importantly is their dad, and the guy that lives with them in their house, and I'm a human being, and I have pleasant things about me and unpleasant things about me like anybody else, and so it's trying to sort of I try to keep focused on that, right, and in my work, and I'm really lucky. I love my work. I really like to do what I do, and I feel very, very lucky to do it for a living.
So how do you handle when your children see you doing less than nice things on screen?
Well, I try and protect them from it. I mean, they're not like if there's TV shows and movies that I've been in that they're not allowed to watch. Now they're growing up, and eventually I'm going to lose control.
They're having a movie marathon right now about you, Oliver, that you're not probably aware of.
Oh my gosh. But it also, you have to sort of accept that too, that something you're not going to be able to
But you can't control that. Just like you stop being able, you can't control your kids, and nor do you really want to.
Yeah. Now in this film, The Oranges, we were just talking in the press conference. There were so many nasty lines. And I wrote it down. I wrote down the line that
the
Allison
actual line that we were all trying to figure out what are we allowed to say it on
Absolutely.
Milling About?
You can.
So what was it?
You do it. You do it.
But you know what? I don't want. But this is the thing. I'm gonna refuse for doing this on a very good principle. Is that I don't want to rob the people that will hopefully go see the movie of the utter joy of that moment and the brilliance with which Allison Janney does it.
Right.
All I can tell you is that something comes out of Allison's mouth at one point that is utterly surprising, and we were just saying in the press conference.
Okay, give me that back so you don't know what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it. I'm blind anyway. She nailed it on the first take, and we just begged Julian to make her keep on doing it.
Really?
Don't you want some different options on that line?
And you guys embarrassing her.
No, well, she would love it. I mean, she was, Allison is an extraordinary actress, not to mention an old friend, and that's such a wonderful.
Oh yeah.
That combination is if you show up to work and you see Allison Janney on the other side of the table, that's a more marvelous thing.
Who are some of, because you've been doing this for quite some time, who are some of your really close actor friends that you love to work with time and time again?
You don't get to work necessarily with all your friends, but the people that I love to work with are my old friend Stanley Tucci. I love to work with.
Oh
Stan.
yeah.
I haven't been able to work together for a while. I love to work with Hank Azaria.
Right.
That's an old friend who I was very lucky to.
Huff. I loved you in Huff. Oh.
I love working with Sam Rockwell. I absolutely adore Sam and love working with him. And we only got to do that once, but it felt like we connected on a really.
What was the movie you did with Sam?
It was Frost Nixon.
Oh yeah, hello.
Yeah, and I could go on and on, but I wish you could just. Wouldn't it be great if you could just pick, like a menu? Okay, I'm going to do a movie now with this person and this person and that person.
Oh yeah, well there are some filmmakers that will only make movies with their friends, and people they love. Otherwise, they're not interested in doing it.
Well, one of the smartest things. I was very, very fortunate that the first movie that I made was Married to the Mob, directed by Jonathan Demme, and he had this.
I was on the boat.
Marvelous.
I gotta tell you something after. Go ahead.
He had worked with a marvelous producer named Kenny Utt, late great Kenny Utt, and they had this philosophy that they would give away. This is the way they phrased it. They would give away 10% on talent if somebody was nice. And that's just a brilliant way of saying, of course Jonathan didn't have to give away 10% on talent to anybody. He could hire whoever he wanted, but that's his way of saying, if it's a very intense collaborative process, and it's the more you have people who are fun to be around, the more playful you are. He really taught me so much about the relationship of playfulness and creativity, and how you can have fun and be constructive at the same time, and that's really how an environment that I really seek to create, if I can, when I'm working, and certainly look for people to work with who work that way. And Julian Farina, by the way, instinctively understands that, as we were talking about.
I think I've been doing this as long as you've been acting, almost 30 years, basically, like a little.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, because Married to the Mob was my very first junket.
Oh, really?
And remember the party on the boat? They had this after party.
I don't think I was at that junket.
Oh, you didn't go.
I was.
They don't do junkets like that anymore. What's happening with The Big C, another favorite TV show?
We are about to start shooting our final season.
Oh no!
Well, you know what? I realize it feels right somehow, and also it's such a luxury to go into a season knowing that it's the last, so that you can wrap it up properly. Really, it's for the writers. That's the most.
Yeah.
But I think you get to sort of savor it, and you get. Just as part of the storytelling team, it's a sort of a it's a very very satisfying thing to know, and it also gives you a sense of occasion, you know. And this is a series that was always meant to end. I mean, do you know what I mean when I say that?
Yeah, it had an arc.
And it was originally conceived as actually a 4-season series, being the first season taking place, and literally the seasons being summer, fall, winter, and spring.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I got to tell you, I was so happy when they killed Susan Sarandon. I love her to pieces, but I hated her character so much.
Oh my goodness! Well, I'm not going to pass that along. I love Susan. I thought sensational and so much fun to work with.
Oh yeah.
But you thought her character was her character was cloying. She sort of designed to be
major bitch.
Designed to be a little bit. She was a very complicated character, you know. But
yeah.
Like a lot of the characters on the show, the writers are really good at evoking sort of complex reactions from people because they're so dimensional.
Right.
You know, you want to sort of you wanted to write Susan's character up as this sort of manipulative, materialistic bitch, and then there she is being soulful and wise. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's good storytelling.
Absolutely. So, what's your next project? What's coming up?
We're going to start shooting in 2 weeks. Yeah, we'll be busy for a few months.
Well, Oliver, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Okay.
Blog Talk Radio, where millions of hosts and listeners gather.